Everyone always talks about what you need to do to lose fat, the diets, the cardio, the workouts, but almost no one talks about the things you need to quit. When I was fat, I thought the answer was to always do more constraint, more restriction, more effort, but all that did was keep me stuck. But what finally allowed me to lose 70 pounds of fat and go from 30% body fat to 12% body fat wasn't doing more, it was by quitting 5 things that were holding me back. And if you can quit these 5 things yourself, in a few months you'll be leaner, more confident, and have more energy than you ever thought possible. The truth is, fat loss isn't just about what you add to your life, it's about what you're willing to take away. You could spend years of your life looking for the perfect training program and the perfect diet, but if you don't take a step back and look and analyze what is holding you back, you will never lose fat. And the 5 things that I'm about to share with you are not only exactly what were holding me back, but funnily enough, they're the exact 5 things that I see hold back 99% of men. And if you can cut them out yourself, I promise you, fat loss will become 10 times easier. The first thing that I quit was alcohol, and I can honestly say you do not realize how much it holds you back until you stop drinking. A lot of people see alcohol as a very base level. It's a drink that contains a lot of empty calories, and whilst that in itself is a negative, what most people don't realize is the cascade effect that comes with it. Think about it, alcohol always leads to shitty food decisions. Every single time I would have a night out, I'd end up in a McDonald's, a kebab shop, or ordering a pizza. Not only that, but then you have a shit night's sleep, you wake up hungover, not wanting to move, and you end up ordering food and lazing around all day. So that one night of drinking then turns into not moving for 24 hours or more and eating way too many calories. I used to kid myself too, and I would say, well, it's the weekend, it's fine. But before I knew it, I had spent the entire weekend laying on my sofa, nursing a hangover, ordering shitty food, and getting less than 1k steps in. And it took me so long to realize that drinking alcohol and trying to lose fat just do not go together at all. And here's the worst part, alcohol decreases your test levels, increases cortisol, and spikes your hunger and cravings, which creates the perfect storm for keeping you fat and frustrated. Now look, I'm a realistic guy. I'm not sat here telling you that you can never touch alcohol again, but whilst you're in a fat loss stage, you have to stop drinking. When I cut it out myself, my fat loss got so much easier. My sleep got better, I had more energy, I had less cravings, so instead of spending my entire weekend sat on my ass on the sofa, eating copious amounts of shitty food, I was going for walks, getting training sessions in, and cooking home-cooked meals. And that's going to skyrocket your progress. And once you've built momentum and you've lost fat, eventually you can bring alcohol back in. You can have a drink at a wedding, have a night out every now and then, or enjoy a glass of wine at dinner. But I can almost guarantee you that once you see the health, energy, and all the benefits that come with not drinking alcohol, you're very unlikely to go back to it. The second thing I quit to lose 70 pounds of fat were cheat days. And let me be straight up with you. Cheat days are fucking moronic. The idea that your diet should be so unbearable that once a week or once a month you eat 7,000 calories of utter shit is just dumb. Like, I genuinely cannot even explain to you how stupid that is. And I myself used to listen to the advocates of that. I remember Monday to Friday I would eat nothing but chicken, rice and broccoli, and I would force myself to do that. And the only reason I could even do it because I was hanging on the thread that I had a cheat day just around the corner. Firstly, think about this. Let's say you're going to eat in a 500 calorie deficit. Let's call it 2,500 calories a day for this example. You do that Monday through to Saturday. So that puts you in a total deficit of 3,000 calories for that week so far. And then Sunday is your cheat day. So you go all out and consume 6,000 calories. You have then wiped out an entire week of progress in one day. So if you do that weekly, you will literally never lose fat. Secondly, you need to understand how that develops a completely toxic relationship with food. You eat clean for a set period of time so you can have a complete blowout at the end of the week. That is how you create in your mind that there's good and bad foods, and that leads to eating disorders. Thirdly, there's the fact that kind of diet just isn't sustainable at all. So even if you do manage to lose some fat, I can promise you, you will put it all back on shortly after. Listen to me, your diet should be enjoyable every single day. You should have a neutral mindset towards food and a healthy relationship with it. When I quit cheat days, everything changed. Instead of being stuck in those binge restrict cycles, I simply switched over to an 80-20 diet where 80% of my food comes from single ingredient nutritious sources and 20% comes from whatever I feel like, which creates sustainability and flexibility. If I feel like having a cookie, I have a cookie. If I feel like a slice of pizza, I have a slice of pizza. as long as it fits within my calorie intake. The easiest way for you to implement this yourself is to eat macro-friendly versions of the foods that you usually restrict yourself from. For example, I eat this protein tiramisu every day because I fucking love tiramisu, but this one has 460 calories and 50 grams of protein. And look, if you're sat there thinking, where do I get recipes like that from? Click the second link in the description of this video and you can get my free fat loss Kickstarter blueprint that has many recipes like that and a free workout program. Again, it's free, so go and get that now. So please just forget cheat days, because as long as you indulge in them, you will never be able to lose fat and sustainably keep it off. Instead, switch to an 80-20 approach. Eat foods you enjoy every single day and build a diet that doesn't feel like a diet so that you can stick to it for the rest of your life. Now, this next one might surprise you, but the third thing I quit was cardio. And before you sit there with that confused look on your face, let me explain. Back when I was fat, I thought the answer to losing fat was hammering the treadmill on the Stairmaster until I was dripping in sweat. So I would drag myself to the gym and do that kind of cardio until I literally couldn't feel my legs. And yes, I would burn a lot of calories, but there's two problems with that kind of cardio. Firstly, you will feel hunger like you've never felt before. You will literally feel like you've been starved. And secondly, those cardio machines completely overestimate the amount of calories you've actually burned. The screen may say 1,000 or 1,500, but really and truly it's closer to 500. The combination of that extreme hunger and the fact that you think you've earned a massive meal causes you to go home and eat thousands of calories. And the result of that is you end up with a higher calorie bottom line than if you just didn't do that cardio. And the result is you don't lose fat, and in some cases you even put fat on. Now look, cardio obviously isn't bad, but hard cardio like I've just described should be avoided. When I actually started to lose fat was when I switched my approach and focused on these three things. Number one, walking 10,000 steps a day minimum. This burns calories without triggering that crazy hunger. Number two, 3 to 4 weight sessions a week so that you retain or even build muscle whilst losing fat. Number three, and most importantly, create a calorie deficit with your diet. I'm telling you, it's so much easier to focus on consuming less than burning more. That is how you lose fat. And when I cut out that cardio, guess what? My results sped up because I was no longer playing the game of trying to burn off calories. So use the gym to build muscle and use your diet and your step count to burn fat, and you will see results so much faster and you'll see more impressive results. Now, the fourth thing I quit, and the reason I was so fat in the first place, was late night snacking. Now, this used to be my typical day. Breakfast would be pretty good, lunch would be good, and my dinner would actually be good most of the time. But then 8 p.m. would roll around, I'd sit on the sofa and I'd put on Netflix. And suddenly I'd find these intense cravings coming out of nowhere. So what I would do is I'd go to the kitchen and open a packet of crisps from a multi-bag of 6. I'd eat that one packet, and before I know it was 2, then 3, then 4, then some biscuits, and I'd sit there and feel so shit about myself that I'd say, okay, fuck it. I may as well just finish all of the snacks I have available. And before I knew it, I would have consumed 1,000 to 2,000 calories of crap and completely ruined my deficit for that day. So that one little snack was the reason I could never lose fat, and I would literally sit there and hate myself because of it. And I would promise myself day after day after day, tomorrow will be different. But for years, that cycle just repeated itself. But finally, I broke that cycle with a three-pronged approach. Firstly, I implemented a restrictive eating window for myself. Like I said, I ate all of my snacks past the hours of 8 p.m. So I set my eating window to 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. That way I literally could not eat after 8 p.m. At first it was hard because my cravings got really intense, and don't get me wrong, sometimes I would fuck up, but eventually my body got used to it, adapted to it, and it became a hell of a lot easier. Secondly, instead of sitting on my sofa, which was a 3-minute walk from my kitchen, I started going for a nightly walk at 8 p.m. for 30 to 40 minutes. That way, instead of consuming calories, I was burning calories. And finally, I just didn't buy the snacks that I kept binging on. It sounds so simple, but think about this. If the food isn't there, you can't fucking eat it. So I stocked my kitchen instead with lower calorie alternatives, for example, salted popcorn. So on those times where I did break and I did give in to my cravings, I was having 400 calories instead of 1,000 to 2,000. And just 10 days after implementing those 3 habits, I lost 3 pounds of fat. So you can see how powerful it is. The fifth thing I quit to lose 70 pounds of fat was I stopped saying yes to everything. And this is arguably the most important one on this list. When I look like that, I was a people pleaser. Whenever my friends asked me to go out for a beer, I would be there. Whenever my brother was round, he said, do you want to order a pizza? I would say, yes, let's get 2. And whenever I went to my grandma's, I'd say yes to every food and every drink she offered me, which usually ended up being like 10,000 calories. I would say yes to absolutely everything, even if it pushed me further away from my goals. Now the truth is, fat loss requires boundaries. If you can't say no, you are not going to lose fat. It's not about being a dick, it's about prioritizing yourself and your goals. You have to set boundaries. It's your life, so you have to stand your ground if you want to turn those goals into a reality. Saying no is uncomfortable at first. Your friends will look at you funny when you get a Coke Zero at the pub instead of a pint. You may be laughed at for not getting a dessert, and you will be judged for a lot of the decisions that you have to make, but that's temporary. The more you say no, the easier it becomes. And the funny thing is, the same people who ridicule you will be asking you how you did it once you've lost all your fat. Also, more importantly, you have to learn to say no to yourself. There are going to be days where all you want is a Domino's and a bag of cookies, but it's in those moments that you have to stay disciplined and tell yourself no. That is how you're going to lose fat and keep it off for the rest of your life. And I promise, if you combine all 5 of those things and quit them one by one, I guarantee you will lose fat. And if you want to work with me directly to make that happen so that you can lose fat, build muscle, and reclaim both your energy and your confidence, click the first link in the description of this video and book a call with me. I'll see you there. Other than that, I hope this video helped, and I will see you in the next one.